Hey, good morning, everyone. So once again, I'll start with the numbers, like maybe, but it's going to be very quick because if you see, you have 7 speakers, 7 of them will give 7 different figures. That's the only thing we are consistent. No? That shows the amount of data we can collect on the chemical industry. Okay. Before I start, like maybe not many people know, like what about Silox? I work for a company called Silox. It's a Belgian company. We are predominantly into what you call the performance chemistry, basically dealing with the sulfur and zinc, all related to that. We also make anti-corrosive pigments, like especially going for a very high-end application. And the third one, predominantly, like which has been a business, which we were more into the recycling of precious metals and all metal-bearing residues. Okay, has been our business for many, many years. Now it caught up in the last few years, like, but this is part of our business. Like basically, we close almost a 500 million euro group turnover, and we employ close to 2,500 people. The only point I want to just mention here is that this is something dream of an MNC. Out of the 2,500 people, we employ 2,000 people in India. Close to 60% of our global revenue comes from India. So this is one of the example like what we can do, like if we can replicate probably the Silox structure, and at least to 20% of the chemical companies are operating in the Gujarat, I think we should be much bigger, okay? We should possibly to realize maybe possibly the 1 trillion or so. So I'll share with you some of the experiences to why it's possible for Silox to be this big and this effective globally, okay? And before that, like just starting with the Gujarat chemical industry, I'm not talking about the India chemical industry. The numbers I'm not going to talk about. But one thing I just wanted to touch upon is the amount of employment that the chemical industry provides. Forget about the top line. Just see the number. Close to direct employment, which means we are the employees of the particular chemical companies working it around 500 to 600,000. So 5 to 6 lakhs. The difference is the indirect employment. Close to 1.2 to 1.5 crore people get employed in this industry. So in total, close to 2 crore people are getting employed through the chemical industry. This is a snapshot as of now. You can challenge me the number, whether it's accurate or not, but more or less we are in this range. Another critical aspect of the Gujarat chemical industry is about the structure. The structure of is somewhat related to the pyramid structure. It is a composition, the very nice composition of the small scale industry, the medium industry, and ultra large industry. Just look into that. What are each one provides a different challenge and opportunity to the chemical industry. But it's extremely a nice structure. What does the large chemical industry do? Of course, whatever the numbers you hear, 30 billion, 40 billion, the dominant portion of the revenue comes from this. Okay? They are driving the bulk production. They are driving the maybe in terms of the petrochemical, like fertilizers, all the bulk and the very large volumes are done by this industry. It employs a sizable number of people, again 300 to 400,000, but it's extremely capital intensive. Like how do you classify anything above 1 billion plus is classified in the large chemical industry. And Gujarat has a lot of large chemical industry. But what we are going to talk more on the mid and small size industry. The mid size is the one like it reaches the SSI and the large corporation because the SSI is not able to deal most of the time with the large corporation. So they play a crucial role. For example, Silox, maybe we can classify most of the growing companies or MNCs come in this category. They are particularly very active in certain specific industry like the pharma intermediate, agrochemicals, dyes and pigments. But now the new opportunities coming in the new chemistries or new evolving industry. What do we talk about? The green, all the green hydrogen, like maybe the battery chemicals, etc. There's going to be a lot of activity here. But the most crucial one, the bottom of the pyramid, that's where the maximum employment gets generated. Even look into the structure, direct employment, around close to almost 5 to 6 million, 600,000, 5 to 6 lakh people get employed in the SSI. So when you talk about the growth of the chemical industry, most of the time, we focus on the large chemical industry. Is it sustainable if you just grow the large one unless the SSI industry keeps pace, meaning including the compliance, including the challenges, all the support it has to provide to the growth of the large and mid-sized chemical industry. I think that's the challenge. We hear people talked about it. We always look into our problems. Yes, by natural. I'm getting paid to resolve my problem, companies like the problems of my company. But when you look into the larger context, who is going to think about the SSI? Okay? Look into this is a very, very short term. This is more or less a confirmed number. I'm not talking about, forget about 2045 and other things, it's possible to achieve. This is the investment which is going to come in Gujarat by 2030, close to 50 to 65 billion. It's a huge number. And this is going to generate employment close to almost 5 lakh people more, additional. Okay, and most of them, where is it going to come from? Probably the Dahej, Hazira, very, very highly concentrated one. This is going to create additional challenges. This is going to be called what you call the problem of plenty, but the scarcity still exists because you are going to require highly skilled people in a very, very small sectors. Okay? See, the numbers are given, but the problem is whether it's possible to achieve it or can we do more. So the key thing is focus on the few challenges. I'm not going to go through everything, but one of the key challenges is how do we keep the structure of the industry when it is growing at this level? Because we need to have this pyramid structure on large, medium, and small scale industry. The biggest problem faced by any chemical industry is related to the safety and environmental compliance. For the large scale industry, medium scale industry, it's possible they can manage it. Why the chemical industry has a bad image? Everybody hear about there is an accident, so many people died, so many people injured, there has been a discharge, there has been a smell, the rivers are getting polluted, the water, groundwater is getting polluted. Is it not happening automatically? It is coming through the chemical industry. But how can we resolve it together? Because most of the time, the cost of compliance for the small-scale industry is a challenge. Whether we like it or not, most of them are entrepreneurs. But they face this problem disproportionately. For example, like maybe the cost of a liter of treated effluent for a large-scale industry, medium-scale industry, and the small-scale industry, is it different? No, it's the same. So we can always say, like, maybe you need to comply. But how, as an industry, probably we need to work with the government. It's not only possible by the industry. I think we do have the concept of CETPs in Gujarat. But maybe the one idea is, do we do it at a highly subsidized price or almost free for the SSI industry so that they become compliant? Maybe. That's one idea. Or there are different type of technology being developed to treat effluent, either take it as air, water, or solid. But most of the industry keep it ourselves, which is not accessible to the SSI. They cannot afford it. What's another best way to share such kind of technology so that the compliance become better? So it's a cyclical effect. We can tell them, like maybe the compliance gets better, more and more new young talent get attracted. Today, like you go and talk to any young talent, they wanted to come into the chemical industry. No, even I could not convince both the sons to come into the chemical industry, even after working for 35 years. Forget about others, how can I influence others to come? Because it has an image issue, which is real. Forget about the image and the talent and this is all becoming sin. But just see the pure opportunity. We are already employing 2 crore people. If you're able to realize the 60 billion, just say another 500,000. So you're going to resolve much higher level problem at the society, and also it's good for the industry and good for the country. But the issue, the challenge here is everybody knows the problem, everybody knows the solution, but who is going to implement it? That's what I think industry has to play a role. So at least from Silox point of view, we started now working with maybe our close suppliers in terms of sharing the technology, especially related to the environment, energy improvement, efficiency improvement. Please do share. And we need to promote the concept of the clusters for the SSI so that they don't face the problem individually, make it collectively, and help them to improve the employment, maybe environmental norms, and environment and safety, the first primary building block. Any chemical industry, if it cannot operate safely, it cannot operate environmentally safe, which is not going to be sustainable. Pretty long time. You may save in a short term, but end of the day, it's like penny wise, pound foolish. It's going to come back because we manage hazardous chemical. That's one point. The second, what is another gap we can photo? Just benchmark with the best in the globe. This is whole goods for all type of industry because we have been operating in the polymer and inorganic chemical. Just ask the question, how many of you know who is the best in your product line? In terms of the cost, in terms of the productivity, most of the time, we say, yeah, maybe this guy, maybe that guy, maybe this guy. We do not have the data. Just wherever the industry operates, try to get the information who is the best benchmark in the world. Try to benchmark against them. You may not be able to bridge all the gap, but at least identifying the gap is the first step to become globally competitive. We always say, like, we import so much chemical, we should make it, why are we importing it? But first of all, you need to understand, why do we import? Most of the people import because it's cheaper or it's not available. You can make the product if it's going to be twice expensive or they're going to buy it. You have the nationalism, but at the end of the day, business is driven by business logic. You need to make a profit. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. But how do we get it? First and foremost, I think this is as an industry, we need to work on it. Get the data. Benchmark against the best. Then identified what are the ways to bridge the gap. It's possible. That's one of the reasons for Silox being a success. Because we produce it most cost-effective way and also the right quality what the customer needs. It has to be driven by business. Everybody talks about green, 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 okay? At the end of the day, if it is not sustainably built into the value chain or the cost of production structure, it's very difficult to sustain it. But fortunately, with the government policies in Gujarat, especially on the green energy and using biofuel, etc., it's very much possible. For example, like 4 years back, most of our steam used to come from like maybe the conventional resources. Today, 70% of the steam we make from the bio-waste. Still, my steam is cheaper than using the conventional fuel. Same thing on the electricity. There are so many companies which have made a quick transition to the green. Why? It makes an economic sense in addition to the environmental sense. So we need to make it economically viable for the industry to switch to any new technology. And it's very much possible. I think we need to give credit to Gujarat government. In terms of the transition to the green energy, like this is one of the state at the industrial level, it's very much possible for us to move to 100%, even for chemical industry. 100% of the green energy, you can use it, whatever the type of process you are running. Okay? So then you need to catch up on to that. Because we did an extremely benchmarking with the Chinese, because most of our competitors from China. One of the area like where we can catch up is on the energy cost. They are more expensive generally. It depends upon which part of China, east, west, or the mid one. Typically, their energy cost is a bit more expensive. Now we have an opportunity to go score over it. The one which we lack is on the productivity. That's the area we can work on it. That's where the new tools are going to come from, like either AI, digital. Here we talk about the employment, okay? There is a large of employment. Yes, we need to give employment, but at the same time, how can we enhance the productivity? Start using the new tools. Don't be afraid, because the chemical industry is always a laggard in terms of adopting the new technology. We need to change that mindset. Do it in a small way, but do it. Don't avoid it. Okay? And probably there are certain drawbacks which we need to live with it, is in terms of the raw material dependence. Okay, so our feedstock, we need to import. There is no way like we should be one. But knowing that drawback, like maybe how can we grow? Because if the feedstock is available, it's possible for us, the industry grow, maybe double the rate. And again, the key is in terms of adopting to the new emerging sector. So the battery chemicals, the green energy, these are all extremely new technology which need a different skill set, but also the industry should start showing interest and adoption to the new emerging technology, because the chemistry and the skill level required and the pace at which the technology changes is extremely different from what we are used to in the chemical industry. Because I'm from a polymer industry, so normally there is a change in the polymer invention happens once in 15 or 20 years. Today, we serve the battery industry or anything, the technology changes every 6 months. I'm talking at the industrial scale. Unless you are used to it, you will not be able to survive. But this is where the potential opportunity is going to come from. So in terms of the skilling, not only for the people, the workers, including yourself, and also what's happening in the world. So if you can start working on all of this thing, it's very much possible, because the ecosystem is there already in Gujarat. You don't need to reinvent it. Okay, of course, whether all of this, can we do it alone? No, we need the government support. Even today, I think most of us would have faced, like when you go for environmental clearance, NOC, it takes a lot of time. Okay, if it takes 6 months or 1 year, just see the cost of capital. The cost will go up. So obviously, we need to work with the government to tell them like this is what it is. Because when I used to work with FICCI, we just developed that because especially in maybe 10 years back, Ankleshwar, Jagadia, there was a blanket ban. Close to $10 billion investment was stuck for almost 3 years. Okay, who is responsible for that? The government will blame, like no, the industry. The industry blames, no, it's government. The way to resolve is, that's what you understand the structure of the industry, what's a problem faced by individual sectors, if we can work a way to collaborate and resolve those issues. I think the growth is not an issue. It's about how we are equipped to get it is the challenge. But probably that's in our hands. Thank you very much.